Okay, going for a take. What? Action.
We are going for a take where we get the take of those who work in the film and TV industry on a specifically chosen film or TV series and about their time in the business.
Yep, and today's take is a special insider episode on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
And in today's take, we're joined with Rahul Pattni.
Hello, thanks
Hey.
for having me.
Dude, it's really exciting to have you on. Obviously,
excited.
we worked together a little bit.
Yeah.
So you at the screening. It's exciting to see the work that you've done. It was gorgeous watching you in the series. Obviously, you guys have watched it now too.
Yeah.
So yeah, today is about getting your take from working within the series itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's life? How's things?
How's things? Busy at the moment, which I've already complained to you enough about, I'm sure. Busy with work and just auditions and stuff and memorizing lines, which is always a hard thing for me to do. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it takes me a while to memorize even just the smallest line. So
Yeah.
I'm busy doing that for a couple of auditions, but
Anything
can't
exciting?
complain. Some things that are exciting.
Cool.
Some things I'm looking forward to auditioning for, which is never usually look forward to the audition process.
Yeah.
But I'm actually really excited about these ones.
Cool.
I it's just the little troubles I have with line learning sometimes, which aren't ideal. But
Do you know what? I find line learning, sometimes it's enjoyable and sometimes it's just I've got to learn those lines. And I'm the same. I've always used to struggle with learning lines. And then for some reason, I don't know how I figured this out, but I learn lines as soon as I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, never in the middle of the day, because they just don't sink in.
Yeah.
But then if I go to bed learning them, then I wake up and they're just there, and I don't know how it works, but it's mad.
That's true. I do the
genuinely
same.
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's it does not matter if I memorize them during the day, because that will just not stay.
Just goes, yeah.
If I do it just before I sleep, once I've woken up, I just know it for some reason, whatever I've just done. I don't know how that works.
What about you, Adam? What do you do?
I just read them and then they just sink in.
He's like,
Pretty simple, that.
I don't know what you want me to say.
how long have you been on Curry for?
I joined in 2020, so it's
So yeah,
it'd be
your body's just used to it and your brain's used to just
Yeah.
taking in that info now.
yeah, pretty much, and because soap is so quick,
Yeah.
the scenes are constantly coming. It gets ingrained into you to just pick up lines.
I guess it's like a muscle that you kind of work out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've heard it wrong, but do they give you the script quite not last minute, but quite soon before you film for those?
We usually this script gets given a month beforehand,
Oh right.
so we have a bit of time
Yeah,
to learn it. But every now and again, you might get added to a scene last second, sometimes on the day.
No way.
Yeah, so you could be at lunchtime and then be like, "Oh, we've added you to this scene. Here's please learn the lines." So have 2 or 3 pages, and you've got to pick it up. But yeah, what about you? Have you always done acting? Have you did you go to drama school or?
No, I did not go to drama school. I really I was quite keen to, but no, I didn't go to drama school. Just kind of luckily managed to find an agent and then go for auditions just
Cool.
sort of straight away.
Cool.
But yeah, maybe not the conventional route into
Yeah,
this.
well, we've obviously chatted a fair bit, and I'd say that your route is pretty unconventional, whatever the right word is.
Yeah.
Because what's the degree that you do at uni at the moment?
Immunology. So
That was it. I
Immunology.
can't even pronounce
Yeah.
Wow.
that. Immunology. You find an email when he's like, anemone. That's me with.
yeah.
What does that mean?
Just the immune system,
Oh,
really. So very applicable to acting, as you can imagine.
super
Yeah.
Yeah.
White blood cells.
So
The overlap.
definitely helps a lot with that. No, they're kind of polar opposites to each other.
Yeah.
But I'm finishing, more or less done with that degree now, and kind of just hoping to focus more on just acting. So the auditions are good.
Yeah.
What made you get into
help with
acting? Because very big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always wanted to do it. It's a little bit cliche, but literally since I was about 4 or 5,
Right.
I did like a youth theatre sort of school. They're called Stagecoach. You might,
Oh, yeah.
might
Oh,
know
yeah.
them. Yeah, they're quite popular. But I did that, and then they would do like term sort of shows, and they did Mamma Mia once, and what was the character? I haven't watched Mamma Mia in so long. One of the older guys was played by 5-year-old Rahul. And and I remember, I think they were laughing at me, but I didn't know that. So I got a laugh, and genuinely it was like the moment on stage getting a laugh from the whole like audience, which I don't know, it was a couple hundred people, like parents and stuff. And I probably broke character and like started laughing with them, but I was like, I don't know, that sort of feeling, which you still feel now doing stage and theatre, although you don't let it show whilst you're on stage. But like just the sort of feedback that you get from that, and genuinely since then, I've wanted to. I'd say
it's always interesting because like I know Adam did, I think you did as well, Matt. We all started on the stage. Obviously you did as well. We started on the stage and then transitioned to TV and film.
Yeah.
And I feel like with having that background in stage, it gives you not an upper hand, but it gives you the toolkit that you need really for when you do when you are challenged by TV and film, because it can be quite challenging, and keeping it fresh when you're in a scene. I found that theatre has helped me a lot for that. You know, just because every night you'd be doing a show, and having to do every night in one day, it changes aspects of it. So
With theatre as well, you get a whole lot more time to rehearse and to like flash out scenes and to experiment and to play. Whereas on TV, it's like if you mess up, you can just go again. So you don't have that risk, that sort of adrenaline that drives, that gives your performance an edge.
Yeah.
You know, when you know you can risk, you can mess up, it just makes it a whole lot more
Yeah,
exciting.
it turns that dialogue,
Yeah.
doesn't it? The intensity.
Yeah.
What was it like when you came to A Good Girl's Guide? How much of prep time did they give to you?
I was cast really last minute, so I mean I wasn't at the table read, but I think we were talking and you read my lines
I
at
did,
the table read.
Not very well.
No, I didn't. It was so last minute, and I remember we had like a costume day, and they brought me in for that like literally on the day. I was cast the night before, and then we had like costume and fitting and stuff, and we met some of the other cast. It was like Asher, Jude, Yali, Raiko. I met them there, and they were all talking about the book and like the story and the plot, and they were asking me things about that, and I was like, I haven't read it. They were like, you're in the plot, right? And you haven't read the story, and I was like, I got cast yesterday. I'm sorry, but it was quite weird. It was surreal. Maybe it's a good thing because I didn't have too much time to be like super nervous. I mean, that was one of the things as well, like about theatre. I almost, quite controversially, I don't like rehearsing too much.
You don't like what, sorry?
Rehearsing too much. So I kind of, I mean, at the time I felt a little bit nervous, but I was kind of just forced to just go for it, you know, which was probably a good thing, I hope.
I agree with you there, because I think too much rehearsal can be detrimental, because then it becomes so structured that there's not room to play with it anymore, because you've already got something which is just not replicating it, but there's already something there. Whereas when I've like, I don't like to rehearse that much. I'll do a few line runs and then go into it, because you never know what's going to happen if you don't know what's going to happen. Wow. Yeah, I think so. Talk us through that casting process then, because it was very last minute, you said. So how did that work?
Yeah, because I auditioned, and then originally I didn't. I didn't get cast, and then I think it was like a last minute sort of thing. Brought back for the role.
The original, I need more coffee. The original audition was for Sal.
No, it's for Ravi,
For
actually.
Ravi.
Which kind of makes sense because you can kind of, based on the sort of people you get for that character, you'll probably find people for Sal through that because they are like a similar demographic. I mean, they're literally brothers, so it makes sense to do casting like that. So yeah, no, I auditioned for that character. Obviously, did not get that character, but Zane was fantastic at that. And then so I mean I got told no, so I was like, okay, kind of just another audition. And then like literally a month after the callback that I had, they were like, actually, could you play the younger brother? And I vaguely remembered there being a brother. I was like, sure, that sounds fun. And then they were like, okay, we'll probably need you down in like 2 days maybe. I was like, okay, that's at least I have a day to prepare. And then the next morning, literally 9 a.m. So this call was at like 7 p.m. from my agent saying like they want to book you for the job. And then the next morning at 9 a.m., luckily I was awake, and they called me and they were like, so we might want you down a little bit earlier. So I was like, okay, cool. And they were like, actually, so how soon could you be on a train? I was like, when do you need me on the train? They were like, ideally in the next hour. So I was like, okay, sure. Okay, yes. I can probably, and then I was like, okay, on my way to like the shower whilst I was still on the call with them. But yeah, I didn't have time to get like too bogged down in the too many details, which was probably a good thing, I guess.
What was it like filming? I know with you it was quite different because it was all flashback scenes as well. But I guess this question is to you as well, Matt. Did you film the episodes in chronological order, or was it just like all over the place in terms of filming?
I'm trying to remember. So I'm only in sort of the third episode,
Right.
I think. I might be in the background of like episode 2 as well. No, we didn't shoot it chronologically. In fact, one of the first scenes that I shot was one of the last scenes that Dylan appears in. So yeah, I don't know about you as well.
I mean, it kind of didn't really matter for my bits because they were all flashbacks, so they weren't necessarily in. It wasn't so important that they were in order. But yeah, I didn't film chronologically. Like definitely not the way that you see it in the show. It wasn't filmed in that order.
What was your like favorite scenes that you filmed? Some standouts.
I think. I've a couple. So there's the last scene I think you see of me. It's with India, who plays Andy, and that's in episode 6. It's like
Is that by the pond? Is your sort of
no.
crying?
That's like at the start, but this one's more towards.
Is it in the school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the school, in the classroom.
Oh, it's beautiful. I was like, it's like a teen thing, and I'm just like, oh,
I didn't want to cry on the train watching it.
No,
it's hay fever.
that was really fun to film. It was just like we were just bouncing off each other, like
Nice.
giving like she's a very generous actor, which I mean, you guys can all understand is like it's really nice when someone's like that, and she gives a lot even if the camera's not on her. It's like you do receive a lot from her, which helped so much with that. The other one, it was a scene that it wasn't in the final cut, but it was a scene with Henry, who plays Max Hastings, and that was really fun to film. It was like a fight scene almost.
Cool.
Like it was pretty short, but it was really fun. It was really fun. And yeah, it was an interesting filming experience as well.
Can you talk us through, because obviously you didn't make it in the cut, can you talk us through what was happening?
Yeah, I guess I can say roughly. It was kind of like Sal is just angry for a reason we don't know yet, but you would find out later on. It's just like really angry, upset at Max, and he kind of is yelling, shouting at him, crying, and then kind of just like throws him against the door, and we ended up breaking the door as well,
wow.
which was someone's actual door, because we filmed outside, and then they I don't know how happy they were about that, but
I hope they got a new door.
I don't know the rest of the story there.
How long would it typically take to film a scene?
Oh, varies a lot, I think. Like some of the shorter scenes that I had were longer than like the dialogue heavy ones. Maybe I don't know how much it was for you, but
I'd say it had a similar pace to like Waterloo Road. That's what I'm on at the moment. It didn't feel rushed at any point actually. Even when it was like last scene of the day, and it was a big juicy duologue, we'd still have maybe a couple of hours to focus on it. So I only worked with Dolly Wells. That was the director for the first block, which was episode 1 to 3. And then the name of the director for the second block was Tom Vaughan.
Tom Vaughan, yeah.
Tom Vaughan. It's interesting chatting to you as well in terms of the differences in direction between the two. I feel like when you guys and everyone watches the series, the first 3 episodes are quite lighter, and it's like Emma's and Pippa's journey into the sort of darkness around the village, and you can kind of see that transition. And I wonder if when they were choosing the directors, they chose the directors based on that. They wanted to find someone who could bring lightness to the first 3 episodes and then more darkness and grittiness as she starts to grow up and lose that sense of innocence that she has as a child early on in the series, and then sort of transitions into that.
I was just going to say that's really interesting that you said that, because I watched all 6 episodes after each other. I felt like a proper like
just all in
fan.
one?
Yeah, all in one, because I was
fair
on the
play.
train and I was like, I've just downloaded all of 6 episodes. And the first 3 I thought were really light. And then I got to episode 4 and I thought, whoa, this took a turn. And then by episode 6, you're like, oh, it's dark. Like it made me excited to see what happens with season 2, if there is, because obviously there's 3 books. Yeah. So it got me excited to see what's going to happen.
I want to talk to you about one scene that you did. Was it in the rave with Emma Myers?
Oh, the calamity party.
Yeah. Like, what did you have like an intimacy coach for that when you had like basically sexually assaulting her?
Yeah.
How-
That was
how
tricky.
did you feel?
That was real tricky. I felt very uncomfortable doing it, but we had this intimacy coordinator. I think she was called Roz, and she was gorgeous. Like, I never had that happen before. Having to do an intimate scene, done stuff in stage, but that feels different because you've worked with each other for like a month rehearsing, so you kind of have that chemistry there already and trust, whereas you just come in on like 2 days after knowing someone, you're like, cool, I'm gonna shove you against a wall and not be a nice person. So this intimacy coordinator was really gorgeous. We did an exercise, me and Emma, where we would just sort of be like, say which body part we were happy being touched. So like, yes, obviously, no. You know, some reason someone might be like, this is a trigger for them. They'll be like, no, just the neck or whatever. And then we take their hand and place it on us and be like, yes, no. Just to break that sort of anxiety around sort of touching someone, and gives you more freedom, because then you know, okay, I can't touch them there, but there. And then also you had another stuff, not with Roz, but with Tom, where he sort of helped that intimacy too.
Because obviously I worked with Roz as well, and I mean, you said it as well. It really helped so much, because you meet the person like 2 days before, and then you have to film that sort of thing. So it definitely helps. But even with Tom, he, for that sort of classroom scene at the end, he sort of made us do a version where we were just back to back, and we were like delivering the lines to the wall, which for some reason, I don't know how, but it really helped. I don't know if it's like you don't feel judged, or even subconsciously you don't feel judged by the other person, but it just really helped. And it just, for some reason, made you more comfortable. Right. At least that's how I felt about that. But yeah.
And did you feel like there was like, what was the difference between working with Dolly and working with Tom? Was it?
Yeah, Tom Vaughan.
Tom.
Yeah.
And what was the difference for you?
I don't know. They were different directors, but it was like, I don't know, they both worked, even though they were so like their styles were very different. Dolly, you could tell she was an actor herself, And the way she directed, it definitely came across as like she understood how like an actor thinks and how an actor sort of I don't know, processes things and what might be helpful. And then Tom's style was like more like, oh, okay, this is the tone, like change this up a bit. Can you do this a little bit differently? Get to this line a little bit quicker, or that sort of thing. But they both worked. And yeah, I was surprised to hear that it was like Dolly's, like it wasn't her first time directing, but it was.
She'd done a feature in like 2019.
Yeah.
With what's he called? Ebon. I really want to get this name right. Where are you? Ebon Moss Backtract. I actually don't know how to pronounce his surname, but the guy from The Bear. Cousin from The Bear. She did
no
film with
way.
him.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And then Tom,
That's
he's
awesome.
directed insane people. Brendan Fraser, Cameron Diaz, Harrison Ford, James McAvoy. And then, he's directing like me and you. Well, actually, no, I missed out. I chatted to him at the rap party.
You did chat to
I
him at the
danced
rap
at the rap party. We had tequila.
Yeah, arguably that's better than being directed by anyone. But yeah, they were like different, but they both worked really well. I couldn't pick someone.
Have you done many fight action scenes before this, or like? No, it's the first time you've ever done fight scenes like this.
Yeah, I mean they weren't like super intense or anything, but they were like, you had to be careful about things because I don't know, you don't want to bash someone's head on like a corner or something. Right. But it wasn't too intense, so it wasn't like it needed training. But I know you do a lot of stage combat
Stage
stuff.
combat,
which
yeah.
is
I've got
so
like
cool.
the bruises to show on this arm from
Katana man himself.
doing Katana this week.
You just passed your exam, didn't you?
What's that?
You just passed your exam.
Yeah, I got a distinction.
Oh, very
I'm now
good.
ready. If anyone wants to cast me in some ambiguously
I'm looking at
white
The Last
guy
Samurai
playing a
2 right
samurai,
here.
I am ready.
With
I'm
green eyes.
waiting.
Yeah.
It was cool, man. Honestly, we did a scene from Ghost of Tsushima, the video game.
Oh, sick.
Oh, wow. It was so cool. And we set it up where we had some like Japanese, sorry, really going off piste here, but like Japanese like battle sounds from For Honor, actually. I was
Right.
meditating. My brother walked in and we killed each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Asked for a good Gus catch. I was like, how can I segue this back
So
in?
Katana's in the show, is there?
That's
Yeah,
my
right.
fault.
What were some of like the biggest sort of challenges? What was interesting actually, bringing it back to the casting director, was how, in fact, looking at everyone's IMDb, most people had maybe done one show before, if any, to be fair, or like maybe a short. So how was it for you? Because you've done Casualty before this, right? Any other TV gig before this? Couple shorts?
Like short films, yeah. Some of them were more professional. Some of them were like student short films. But yeah, no, I quite liked doing those. I think I think if I just started with this and kind of jumped straight into having like 80 people around, like behind the camera.
Yeah.
I mean,
Was that a big challenge?
oh yeah, that was. Oh my god, I can't tell you how scared I was filming.
you,
Especially like the first scene that you see of me and India and young Pip, in the show, it's like, it's pretty quick. It's like a couple of lines, like 3 or 4 lines, and nothing you would have trouble memorizing. And then we didn't do a take. We did like a little line read through, like a dry read before, and I literally I was like stuttering and stumbling over my lines, and I was like, I know my 3 lines for this scene, I promise.
I learned them on the train coming home. I filmed them the next day.
I was like, I know my lines, I promise. I didn't just forget my 3 lines that I had for that scene. But no, Dolly was so nice about it. She knew that it was just nerves. And she was like, it's fine, don't worry. She was so calming, I found.
Yeah. How did you process those nerves so then you were able to just be present in the moment?
Eventually, like maybe not in the beginning, but in block 2, I definitely found that kind of meditating, I guess you could call it meditating, beforehand, and reading a book. It didn't matter what I was reading,
Like a
but
first country minute.
I read that in like 3 days before because I was like, I need to know what to do. But no, I was reading. I think it was the Song of Achilles. If I don't know if any of you guys have read it, but really good book, and a book that lets you kind of imagine things very vividly. And I don't know if that also helps, like just like exercising that part of your mind that kind of helps you visualize things from reading a book and stuff. But that really helped, and I just feel very calm when I'm reading. And so I didn't have the book on set, but I was reading like beforehand and just kind of making sure I stayed very calm. Did not have any coffee, any caffeine on set. I stopped having that. Yeah.
No.
I
How do you do that?
Because I was like, I want to be as calm as.
Give me another shot of espresso, please.
No, that was a challenge, but it was reading for some reason really helped.
It's interesting because I have a similar thing, but I meditate before a scene usually, just to breath work usually, just to relax my body, but also music, because I feel like if there's silence and I'm thinking about it, screwed, because my brain's just like, oh yeah, this. But when I'm listening to music and I'm focusing on the lyrics, or if I'm reading, or if I'm meditating or breath work, you go out of your mind into like just the present.
I agree. Like I had one of my very first scenes when I first joined Coronation Street. It was a really intense fight scene on the street. Basically my sister's nudes got leaked. That was the storyline. And this boy comes over and says, don't worry, I only gave her an 8. Never knew she was such a... I can't swear, but yeah. And then we start fighting. But like before we were getting ready for that scene, I was like, I need some music to get me into like... maybe like listen to like hardcore rock or something. So I asked the runner can you run to my dressing room and get me my AirPods? Yeah. And she was like, I'll get it at you after this scene. So I was like, but I let that affect me. I got pissed off from that.
The reaction to no, actually.
Yeah, and then it helped the scene.
It's true though, that again, with music, I think we didn't even really know. Did we know each other when I started Good Girls?
We knew each other, but we
hadn't
hadn't
done this podcast.
We hadn't done the podcast yet.
But I was listening to. I made a whole like Dylan playlist.
Yeah.
And like honestly, it slaps. It's like all hype, like ravey. We got like Bonkers. Bonkers was my go-to Dizzy Rascal.
Oh yeah.
So before we did the take where I'm like playing Spin the Bottle in the middle. And obviously it's all like you have to kind of like silently like do a little drum roll or whatever. So it's weird trying to create that atmosphere with a bunch of like essays, people that you kind of know a little bit the first time meeting people as well. And you want it to be exciting and have that seediness of like when you're at that party when you're that age and you're like spinning the bottle like, oh, who's gonna kiss who? And yeah, just listening to like Bonkers and also like Dill's like taking drugs and stuff.
I had the exact same song when I was playing Trinkalo in The Tempest at the Royal Exchange.
You spoke about that
Bonkers
before,
by Dizzy Rascal.
Yeah. I had the exact same song.
It's interesting that you said a Dylan playlist, because if I go on my Apple Music, and I use Apple Music, not Spotify. Controversial.
Me too.
I go through all my playlists and I see all these auditions that I've done, and you just see all these character names, and it's like I go on them and I'm like, this playlist, I could just listen to this in the gym. It's sick.
Yeah.
I think it's so like interesting how music affects us and how we are affected and how it can influence our decisions and our choices, especially when filming as well. I just thought it was something that I wanted to say because beautiful.
Do you ever use music when you're like creating a character or getting into the headspace? Obviously, you talked about reading a book.
Yeah. Sometimes. Not a lot though. I think I should try it.
Just have a listen to Bonkers. Bonkers seems to be the
Bonkers
go-to
seems
for
to
anything.
work.
Dizzy Rascal.
Just
breaking down
and
and
doing Sandstorm or whatever. Yeah, it was like Sandstorm, Prodigy, Firestarter. That was another big one as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Tune.
Oh man. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, I should try it.
Yeah,
I should
definitely
probably try it.
But yeah, before you were saying about that scene that you had with Henry as well, I just wanted to dive on into that a bit more.
Yeah.
Because you said something else happened when you were doing it too.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was kind of the the door that we ended up breaking was like some like a family house, and then like their sort of side door. And I remember like these two friends had like come home from school or something, and they were like, we thought, oh, they're like interested in what we're filming. They were like, no, we live in there. And so we were like, oh yeah, of course, go in. And then like, bear in mind, like I'm like pushing him against this door, and it's like really loud, and like we're screaming and stuff. And then they come out, and we can hear them listening, and then they come out and they're like, we think they're gonna like tell us to like tone it down or something. And they're like, oh, can I have an autograph? I was like, oh, it was like a transition of emotions. I was like, oh, this is crazy. I've never done this before. And then it was like, oh, I've never done this before. I don't know what to do, because I was about to sign like my signature. I was like, I'm gonna. Is this gonna get me in trouble for like like my legal signature? Then I was like, I've never made like an autograph signature because I don't know, it feels kind of like arrogant. Who's asked? No one's asked for my autograph, so why would I have made one?
That was the first time someone's asked.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, and then I literally just like squiggled on her post-it note. And I was just like, and then I was literally about to say I'm sorry.
What did you just write on, like her book, her Good Girls?
No, it was like a post-it note or something. And I've only ever seen clips of like people disappointed to not get an autograph. She looked as disappointed to get one. And I was like, oh my god, what just happened?
First edition autograph.
And then Henry was like, what was that? Because he saw me do it. He was like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know. I panicked. I've never done this before. And he was like, I've never done one before either, but I know to ask for their name. At least I know to ask for their name and like do all that. I was like, I don't know. And then we went back to like throwing each other.
Now you've told that story though. Give it a few years when you're all like in Hollywood. That was squiggle will be worth loads.
Yeah.
But it's not a squiggle anymore.
It's your very first squiggle. So
yeah, it's
your first edition
man.
signature. That's what it is.
I would apologise if I ever met them.
She's probably watching this thinking, oh, I thought that was real.
Yeah, she's been using that on bank statements. Just a squiggle. Why is it not working?
Why can I not? The way, yeah. Oh man.
So, taking it back to set, what do you reckon was the biggest lesson you learned from all your experience on A Good Girl's Guide to Murder?
I don't know. How to just cope with so many people watching you, because you have that sort of audience for theatre, and they're there, but they're like at a distance. They've got like a bunch of monitors. They can see all the like fine details, and it doesn't really occur to you. Like you're aware that they're mainly just focused on their job. Like makeup will be focused on making sure that's all okay, but that just doesn't occur to you. I mean, you know, but you're just like, no, they are judging everything I do. So kind of getting over that, which I imagine will help if I do like theatre and stuff anymore. That sort of thing, like getting used to an audience, like a substantial like audience, even though it's just film, which because you don't usually associate film with having a live audience. It's more so behind the screen, like people at home watching you, but there is like a live audience there as well. So yeah, learning how to cope with that.
What would your have you got a mantra that you live by, like a philosophy?
A mantra? I don't think I have a mantra really. What's yours, like as an example? Because I might steal it.
Go on, Adam. What's your mantra?
Yeah, it's live and let live.
Live and let live.
Was that on the spot?
The song just started playing on repeat.
You know what?
Bonkers comes.
Bonkers is still just on repeat.
You know what? You can ask me the question again now. Like if you.
So what is your mantra that you live by?
Probably live and let live.
That's a really
Yeah.
Did you come up with that? That sounds really rich.
I did. I was like, I don't know. It's just something I've had for a while now.
Just put it up and you just wanted to get it out.
I might take it myself.
Oh man, that's funny.
Matt, what's yours?
My mantra? Oh, I don't know. I was like, dude, I guess it changes up at the moment. Trust what is happening and do it for yourself.
Interesting.
What's
That's a good one. Mine's pretty simple. It's just trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's effective. And whenever I feel any, we all get those days of frustration where it's like, why is it taking so long? Like, why are there no auditions? Why am I not filming right now?
Yeah.
Like it can get frustrating. And then I just have to remind myself, trust the process. It's a journey. It doesn't happen every day. You've got to give it time to grow. It's a seed. Yeah.
What was it like watching yourself and watching people's reaction to the series as well?
Yeah.
Do you have socials?
Yeah. Like I
Be careful giving them out now because then everyone will be like, oh, Rahul Pattni, whatever.
No, I mean I don't have TikTok, but I've heard it's like there's a lot of stuff going on. On there.
Yeah.
I don't have it either.
But yeah, no, on Instagram and stuff, I've seen a few things. I've tried to stay away from looking at it too much because I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of it is positive, but I feel like that is kind of, you don't want too much of that either. As in, you don't want to hear too much of it because it's almost, it can, I don't know, it might make you lazy or something like that. It might not. It's just not good to hear too much good, not good to hear too much bad either. You kind of need a balance in between, I think. But seeing myself on the screen, I never like it. I don't know. I just don't like seeing myself. I remember doing ADR for this, and that I was like, my hands were like sweaty. I was like, because I was just seeing myself like doing like acting, and I was like, oh, I don't like it. I've never liked watching myself ever, even self-tapes, nothing. I just don't like. I would much rather I could like film a self-tape and just send it to someone and they can edit it down. But
is it because you pick up on all the things that you'd like to improve, or as opposed to having a balanced point of view where you go, okay, well that was really good, I really like that, but I could have done better with that? Is it more that the negative is just a bit louder? Yeah,
I think so. I think I'm if there's something good or something that I like, I'm like, okay, that was nice. But then the moment I see something that's not right, which there always is, I'm like,
It's just really strange. This is another thing that I'm learning is if you can't trust yourself, trust the outside people and the people whose opinion you value.
Yeah.
Because watching you, literally, we were at the screening in the first episode. I came out, had a couple of wines, and I was, I was just like, dude, you were gorgeous.
Oh, thanks,
you like
man.
inhabited the character so well. It was. I'm trying not to be too positive. Too much positive is a bad thing as well. But it was. You were just Sal. You were just Sal, and from my understanding of the character and my understanding of the story as well, it just was what it should have been.
Oh.
Yeah, it was,
I'm glad.
and the chemistry between you and India as well was beautiful.
Oh, beautiful, yeah. Really nice.
I'm glad that came across
yeah,
then.
no, definitely.
No, she definitely helped with that. Because she's, I mean, I said it before, like I was so nervous on set, and she was as well. But she's very a very positive person to be around as well. And that just makes you feel so much more calm, and like you can just talk and stuff. And so we would talk quite a lot. We would like before filming and stuff, and that all just helped. So I definitely wouldn't have been the same without her, I think.
And talking of Sal, how did you create Sal? Did you use the book as like guidance, or did you just go your own way?
Yeah, I mean the book itself doesn't really talk too much about like his thoughts. Like you see Pip's thoughts in the book, you see everyone's thoughts in the book, and so that there isn't too much of that because Sal's dead,
Yeah.
right? So it was more so kind of just it was almost freeing in a way, because it was like there's no real expectation of what it's meant to be. It's like the only thing that anyone could expect is like how Sal may look visually, but there's no real like sort of thing, like, you know, he comes across as very nice, very innocent, and that sort of thing. But aside from that, there's not really too much you might imagine in terms of his character. So the book was useful in that sense. It was like, well, I can see what I want to do, what I feel like doing. There's no, I'm not sort of like, I don't know, trapped in any kind of guideline there. So yeah.
Cool.
I'm intrigued in finding out what your two's impression of the series was.
I quite enjoyed it. I got the sort of vibe of it. Have you ever seen Sex Education?
Yes. Yeah.
It had very much that vibe.
Yeah.
But also like darker tone. Like, I've only watched the first 3 eps, but a sense of like darker undertones as well. But I'm sure that gets a whole lot more darker in episode 4.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I liked it because it takes you on a journey. Each episode brings something which you don't expect the previous episode. Like, you're constantly being challenged by your thoughts. You go to episode 2 and you're thinking, oh, it's definitely so-and-so. And by episode 3, you're like, huh? They're innocent, what?
More and more suspects just keep piling up, and you eventually you don't know who.
Yeah.
It could be anyone.
So you haven't finished it.
No.
Who do you think? Who do you think?
Yeah.
We can't give it away.
Henry gave it away to me at the screening. I'd forgotten who it was, and then he was like, "I would have loved to have played." I won't say anything. He said the name in a moment, and I was like, "Why did he say that?"
I think it might be either 2 people, either one of
Okay, I'm fully covering my face, not to give anything away.
Yeah. We gotta act now.
either Pip's
Act. Ugh.
either
Let me just listen to Bonkers.
either Pip's best friend or Max's dad, maybe. I don't know.
Really?
I think I'm being a bit too suspicious.
I guess you'll find out on episode 6.
That's interesting.
But what I will say
His best friend or
is whoever was guilty in episode 6, were they guilty? Because on my research from the second book, I mean, did they get the right person?
I don't even know what happens in. Well, I know a vague outline of what happens in the second book.
It's exciting.
It is
I'm really excited.
And
I feel like I'm
hopefully
a
it gets
fan.
renewed as well. That'd be. Key.
I hope so.
That'd
I
be
really
good.
do hope so, because I enjoyed it. It was a good series to watch. And, you know, sometimes when it's a series, I get put off by it because I'm like, there's a lot to watch. But 6 episodes felt like the right amount.
Yeah, I'd say that actually the only thing from watching it, and also us being there as well, there was a lot of footage of like some of the other actors that was shot that definitely didn't make it into the series. I don't know if that's because it was a BBC 3 thing and it was the first sort of shot at it, and it's like, okay, is this going to work? Will the audience respond to it? My fingers are crossed that, you know, it's had a lot of viewers. I'm pretty sure it has. The reception's been generally positive.
Yeah.
That season 2 will be, I'd say, like 8 episodes, because there's so many, particularly in the book. One of the main sort of like reviews has been saying that like you work out and solve the case as you follow Pip through it, which I think you kind of do in the series as well. But it's such an ensemble-based thing. If you can have more time to learn about each character, learn about the intricate relationship between all the different families within this small little microcosm of a village, and then the reveals get juicier because you start to find out how everyone's not a good person. There's all of them have done something, and all of them have a guilt to them somehow as well.
Like the whole
I
town's
think
linked.
my fingers are crossed that in season 2, if it happens, 8 episodes, 10 episodes, more in depth, with more of a darker tone as well. Yeah, that's exciting.
I think it definitely, if it does get renewed, it's going to be a lot darker.
Yeah,
Because the books are just way darker.
yeah, and Holly's amazing as well.
Yeah. And if it's going to be based on the books, so it's gonna get dark.
Yeah, and Jude's gonna have a meaty part next book if he does.
Oh, yeah? Ooh.
Yeah.
You're making me want to read the books now. I mean, I've not read the first one, but I want to start reading the second one for season 2. Yeah. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess just to sort of wrap up now, What's next for you, man?
What's next? Auditions and stuff. So I mean, I'm obviously seeing what's gonna come up. I'm quite open to different things. I want something with a good script. I mean, that's like obviously you do, but for me that's like the most important thing. It's like, is the script good?
Yeah.
And then I don't really mind what it is, like what kind of genre, what kind of whatever. Yeah, something a bit challenging as well, something very different to however I am would be ideal. I think, to really play a character, like a different character.
What's that sort of vision in terms of the character? You want to play some sort of, like, I don't know.
Oh, my dream role.
Yeah.
Is some kind of anti-hero would be ideal.
That's good.
That's like. I mean, the popular one is Joker, but I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. But that sort of vibe would be amazing.
Have you got any advice for the younger aspiring actors?
Any advice for them? I'd say, it's a cliche bit of advice. Don't. I don't know. Just don't
Live, let live. Whatever you said.
Live, laugh, love.
Just, if you're gonna go into acting, this is just based on what I know from now. If you're gonna go into it, make sure you're like really ready to have like a resilient mind and get a lot of no's, no matter what you kind of do, no matter, like, even if you think it's like your best kind of audition, best kind of thing that you're doing, just be ready to hear a lot of no's. Bit of a depressing bit of advice.
Good advice.
It's probably the most like realistic
It's
thing.
very true, and I feel like all those no's mean that one yes is like euphoria.
Also, the no's make you a better actor for sure.
100%.
Yeah,
For sure.
That's kind of what I'd say.
Yeah. What was that one phone call? What was the experience like when you heard that yes for a Good Girls?
I was like, I don't know. It kind of realizes. It kind of makes you realize that you have like this unconscious stress about like working and like getting roles and stuff. Because when I got the call, I was like, I just felt so calm. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna film something. Like, that was all it was. So I just felt calm for once, and I didn't realize I wasn't calm before that, but it made me feel calm. It's weird, but that's what I felt. Yeah.
Wow, and I think that's the perfect time to wrap the episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate you traveling up, man.
This was fun.
Oh man, and that's a wrap. Woo! There we go.